Everything is growing, changing, and evolving. Even you, from the student nurse to the baby nurse, off the bedside and into entrepreneurship, you have arrived and you have evolved. So, welcome to the Evolve Nurse Podcast. I'm your host, Keish, and today we have joining us on the podcast a South Georgia native like myself. She's been a nurse for 16 years. She serves her community by doing Bible study brunches, feeding the elderly, and she's not only a nurse, she's a mom, a sister, a daughter, a grandma. Welcome, Kimbre, to the Evolve Nurse Podcast. I know her by Toy Toy. Y'all, welcome her to the Evolve Nurse Podcast. First of all, I'd like to say she is from South Georgia.
Yes.
You want people to know
Born
where
and
you're from?
raised.
She's from the O.
The big O,
The
Osula.
O, not the little one. She's from the big O and not the little one. She is the
Okay.
sister of one of my best friends. And I wanted to talk to her today because she has a lot of information to offer as it relates to being a nurse. So, the first question that I always ask is, did you always want to be a nurse?
I will be honest, that was not my first choice in careers. But my family was full of nurses. My mom was a nurse, my grandma was a nurse, aunties, uncles that were nurses. And I guess it was just, bound to happen.
Passed on down to you. So, in these 16 years of nursing, when we go back, what was the nursing school experience like for you?
It was more strict when I went through the nursing program than what I see today.
Mm-hmm.
When I went, I will tell you, I started out as an LPN. I got my LPN nursing license when I think it was in 2010. And even then, it was like, wear all white. You know what I mean? Creases in your pants, hair off your shoulders. Yeah,
Nails,
no nails, no lashes. Yeah, none of that.
no shoes with mesh on it.
That's right. That's right. And the shoes were like the old school nursemates. So it'd be all white. Like my nursing instructors did not play. And they will send you home if like anything was out of dress code. Like when you
Yes,
showed up to clinicals, if you were not on it, then they were gonna send you home. So
yes.
now I see more leniency, with students when they come through the hospitals, that I work with. When I see them come through for clinicals, they are a lot more lenient when it comes to clinicals.
So, what did it look like bridging from being an LPN to an RN?
It was tough. It was tough because at the time my son was in elementary school. He had to be about 6 or 7. So when I was bridging, it was a lot of. I went to South Georgia State College in Douglas. So the way their bridge program was, it was like Monday through Thursday class, and then finally when you got to the clinical part, it was like twice a week. But when we were going through like med surge, 1 and 2 psych, because that's all you take during the summer when you actually in the bridge. It was like Monday through Thursday class, and then I would work night shift as an LPN Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I would have Sunday off to study. So it was tough. It was a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. There was a lot of sleepless nights and days, studying. But, looking back at it, it was well worth it. And my family was a big help, a major help when it came to childcare and, just helping me through that process.
Yes. So, you have your MSN, correct?
Right. I have my master's now.
Okay. So, what was that process like? What did that look like for you? I see that when you were coming in LPN school, you go get your RN, you're balancing being a mom,
Hmm.
going back to school.
Right.
You had a huge support system. Shout out to your support system.
Yes. Yes.
And people really do need that because people don't recognize that they need a support system when they're going through
Yes.
nursing school, especially if you're a mom. Even if you're not a mom, you
Hmm.
really need those people in your corner to push you to further yourself,
That's
even if they
right.
don't understand what you're doing. Because a lot of times they're not going to understand the sleepless
Hmm.
nights. They're not going to understand that you can't show up, but making sure
Right.
you have those people in your corner that they don't know exactly what you're going through, but they're riding. They're riding for you.
Yes. 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 That
So,
was very important.
moving into your MSN program, how was that process for you?
It was very similar, just trying to balance, work, education, studies, kids, because, my son was in his senior year, my daughter in elementary school. So it was a lot of balancing, that work and then coming home from work and doing, schoolwork and helping my
Hmm.
kids with their schoolwork. So it was a lot.
You recently graduated with your MSc because y'all, her son just graduated high school.
Yes, he just graduated high school Friday, and whew, I tell you, it was a lot of praying
Yes.
for him when he was a baby.
Yes,
Okay.
just so little. I was like, oh my goodness. It has
Yes,
been such a long time. And I'm like, the
yes,
years just fly by. The years
they really
really
do.
just fly by. And so how long did it take you to get your MSc?
It was about, I would say it was about a year. Maybe it wasn't that long. I would say about a year and a half because it was some classes that I did have to drop just because it was just too much of a load.
Hmm.
And I would recognize that like right off the bat and be like, hey, I don't think I could take these three classes together. I'm just gonna have to drop one and go part time.
Hmm.
So it was a lot of recognizing, okay, this is too much for me. Some people will keep going and then get overwhelmed and end up bombing, in a class, failing a class. And that's something I didn't want to do because, my GPA was good. And, in the MSN program, you can't make anything less than a B.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it was like, I don't want to mess that up. So I just went ahead and withdrew, from those classes that I knew it was going to be too much of a load for me.
And I think that people do not recognize that they can do that. Like,
Yeah,
you do not have to take on all of, when you see that it's going to be too much, say something so that you don't ruin
exactly.
your reputation in the program. And also, you just got your MSN. So, what are your goals with that?
So right now, the role I'm in is a RN case manager, and I've been doing that now for about 3 years. This August will be 3 years for me. I do enjoy that, but I've recently been offered a new role. Yes. So I'll be able to transition, and I'm so excited because this will be a hybrid position where I can, have some days where I work from home. And I'm excited because I've decided to homeschool my daughter. So that'll be a new journey for us. Yes. And my daughter is 7 and she'll be going to the second grade. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. She is too.
What made you decide that you wanted to homeschool her?
So just I wasn't too I'll be honest, I wasn't too happy with the curriculum and the way that they are doing things now. It's so different than when we learned. So it's like a lot of gaps that I noticed, in the school system as far as like the way they teach phonics now, the way they teach math now. And I noticed that, they would want her to write out answers, but they're not giving like spelling words. You know what I mean? You know how we had spelling tests,
Yeah,
the list of spelling words and stuff. So it's just stuff like that that I feel, we have to fill in
right.
the gaps. But I'm like, okay, I might as well just homeschool her.
Mhm. Especially with this change.
Exactly, exactly. So this will help a lot because, my shift will be in the evening. So I
Hmm.
will work from like 10 to,
Yeah,
from 2 to 10 or, like those kind of hours or from like 1 to 9, those hours. So we'll be able to get in all of our homeschool hours, pretty good. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited for you too because I've seen a lot of people moving more into homeschooling,
Hmm.
and some people are really, really worried about social cues,
That
like
too.
being sociable. But I know, like, she has a huge family.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting her with kids who are her age, putting her in sports, doing all of those things,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
creates social, like, she wouldn't miss out on anything except for that school experience, but
Hmm.
it's so different now than what we had back then.
Exactly. It's so different. It's so different. And Another thing that I learned, because I've mentioned it so many times, especially to my coworkers, there's like a lot of homeschool communities,
Hmm.
that you can be a part of, and they do like group field trips for the kids. They have group activities. So I work at Southwell in Tifton, and I've talked to a lot of different nurses that have homeschooled their kids and are a part of this community. So I've kind of joined in with them. They know I'm going to be homeschooling Katie Bug, so we'll be doing some not vacations, some field trips with
Okay.
them. Yeah, so I'm excited. So she won't miss out on socializing. You know, and
Hmm.
I've also talked about getting her into gymnastics and stuff like that. So she'll still be social. I'm making sure of
Yes.
that.
And then the benefit of that is that she can always graduate early
Hmm.
with homeschooling. I think that's such a beautiful thing is that they learn what they learn and they move on. They don't have to, I would say when you have children that learn pretty fast,
Hmm.
they're in school settings, they have to wait until everybody else kind of
Exactly.
where they are. But whenever you can structure her curriculum so that she can get everything that the state needs for her to have, as
Exactly.
well as you
Exactly.
want her to have, then she'll be in
Right.
college at 16.
Okay. And that's another thing, because I'll be able to work with her one on one versus the
Hmm.
teacher working one with 20 students. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I feel like that one on one time with her is going to help her just progress a lot faster. And like you said, I feel sometimes she may sit around and get bored, and then that's when she gets in trouble.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly
Yes.
what it is. I know one of my baby, he's only 3, and his teacher was like, "He is so brilliant." She was like, "You're gonna have an issue with him when he gets to kindergarten
Mm-hmm.
because he
Mm-hmm.
already knows everything. So by the time he
Right.
gets there, he's gonna be bored." And I'm like, "What can we do to prevent that?" She said, "You just kind of gotta, let him get used to it. But for the
Right.
most part, he is gonna get bored because he's already doing so many different things."
Exactly, exactly, and that's how capable was. She was reading before she even started pre-K.
Yeah.
She's already reading. So it's like I don't have any problems with her learning, things, and I know she can do those things. I think she just gets bored.
She already know everything. Like, I know the stuff. Can we move on, please?
Exactly, exactly.
Let's get into why you wanted to talk to me. You wanted to talk about the diversity in nursing. Like, what does it look like out here for nurses in the world? Because, like I said, this is the Evolve Nurse podcast because we are so much more than just being a nurse, right?
Right, right.
And so, what do you feel like nurses can do to diversify themselves and make themselves more palatable in this in this economy,
Yes, yes.
because we need 13 jobs.
Let's say definitely continue education,
Hmm.
because it's so many things that you can specialize in now. A lot of people don't realize that there's more to, than just MSN nurse practitioner. You have MSN nursing leadership and management, which is what I went for. And then you have MSN informatics, MSN education, and then you have certifications that you can also get as well. And one of mine was case management, and you can also get certified in clinical documentation integrity, where you can where you can get certified to review clinical documents, and just make sure the documentation is up to par, so that insurance will cover those hospital stays and stuff like that. So you can get certification in that. It's also cybersecurity
Hmm.
certifications that you can get as well. And a lot of people didn't know that. I was actually looking into that prior to getting my master's,
Hmm.
which cybersecurity is actually becoming a big thing, because
Yeah.
you have that important health protected information, and you don't want anyone to hack in and get that information. So cybersecurity is a big, plus to have.
Hmm.
So these are the things that I just wanted to make people aware of, because a lot of people are bedside nursing, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I did that for years and years and years. But I do know you get burnt out.
Yeah.
You get burnt out. And I still bedside nurse. Sometimes, I'll cover in the ER and just keep those skills up to date, But you do get burnt out and you want to see what else can I do with this degree. I
Yeah,
literally was like, what else can I do with this nursing degree?
exactly. People don't realize how many things that they can do with their degree,
Mm-hmm.
how they can pivot. Like nursing is such a good degree to have because
It is.
you can literally be like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I
Exactly.
don't want to do this
Exactly.
anymore. I would rather look for something else, something that I like, something that I love to do. What do I love to do and how can it fit with my degree?
Exactly. Exactly. So, and in the new role I'll be going to is utilization review.
Yes.
So it's pretty much like the clinical documentation certificate I was talking about, certification I was talking about, where
Hmm.
you review, the documentation, make sure it is, good, so you can submit it to insurance to make sure facilities are getting paid. You know,
Yes.
so and I still want to go through with that certification because it's going to help me in my,
In
in
your
my
role.
my new role. Right. And me, I'm the kind of person that when I do something, I want to, what I mean, like really
Do
go
it
in it
all the
100%.
way. Mhm.
I'm all the way in it. So I've had a lot of roles and I try to give, all of them 100%.
And I'm so excited. So, first of all, how did you get into utilization review? Because I think a lot of people have been trying to get over there in that lane, and it is so hard to get into.
I'm just gonna be honest, the opportunity just kind of fell in my lap. It really did. It really did because case management and utilization review is kind of under the same management at my job.
Mhm.
But, our function is different. So when the job came open, I actually wasn't going to apply for it, but because of how it was posted.
Mhm.
So when someone else on the case management team was talking about it, I was like, oh man, I might be interested in something like that. But I wasn't sure if somebody else was going to, have kind of applied for it. I wasn't sure if they were going to go for it. So it was mentioned that I might be interested in it, and I wanted to homeschool my daughter. So, like everybody knew that, like the whole case management team, because I hadn't been talking about it so much. So it was mentioned, and it was like, if you want to, apply to the job, girl, go ahead. So I applied, and I got the position. So I was very excited about that, and it just worked out. It
And
worked out.
that's what teamwork looks like people listening to what you want to do
Yes,
and them being like, no, you should go for it. Go ahead and put the application in. I know that it doesn't sound the best while it's posted like this, but go ahead and put in for it because, girl, we know that you want to homeschool Katie Bug.
yes, yes.
So
So
go
I can
homeschool
say
Katie
I do
Bug.
have a good team and case management team, and we do, look out for each other. And we, the thing about it is, we're all moms. We all understand. You know what I mean? And we do talk to each other about, life, because life be lifing.
Life, life be life.
Yes.
So what was your main reason for leaving the bedside?
Well, for one thing, I needed a better schedule because my daughter was starting school. My son was in high school by then, so I wasn't. He's pretty good. I didn't have to worry so much about him, but my daughter I worried about because I did have issues with my son when he was younger with bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I did go to the school. I went to the state board. I mean, I say board. I went to the board of education, and address those things. But I didn't want my daughter to go through the same thing. And it was
Yes.
a problem on the bus with bullying with her. So I was like, okay, I'm on a Monday through Friday job where I can drop her off to school and make sure she, rides the bus with her brother. I was just pretty much trying to protect her because I don't want her to feel any kind
Yeah.
of way about bullying, because she's being bullied. I don't want her to feel like she's not protected.
And that's so unfortunate that kids go through that. And I'm not gonna say in these days because that has been happening. And then
Hmm.
you have parents who were bullies, now they're raising little bullies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those bullies are going to raise some little bullies too. And it's so unfortunate that children
Right.
have to go through things like that. And it's
Hmm.
also unfortunate that as moms, and I think it's beautiful that you did this, but you shouldn't have had to do this, to
Right.
take time away from the career that you love to be
Hmm.
like, I want to make sure that my baby is okay. Like
Right.
just simply
Right.
riding the bus home or riding
Hmm.
the bus in the morning.
Hmm.
But that's what you have to do when you're a mom. Like
That's
sometimes
it.
you have to make the sacrifices.
That's it. That's really what I had to do.
And that girl, that's and that's why she's gonna do wonderful being at home with you. Okay. So, what's one piece of information that you would give to new nurses trying to come into, like student nurses trying to come into the nursing field?
I would say make sure it's something that you absolutely want to do.
Hmm.
Make sure that it's you have the heart for it. You know what I mean? This is your passion, because I see a lot of nursing students who don't quite realize what is needed to be a nurse. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to be scanning medicines and giving it to patients and stuff. No, like, we have to get our hands dirty, okay? Like, you got to roll those sleeves up sometimes and help give a bath, or, or help change a patient and stuff like
Sometimes
that.
you are the CNA. It depends
Exactly.
on what it looks like there. Sometimes you short staffed. You don't have a CNA.
Exactly. And I've done that a lot of times. Rolled up my sleeves, and I've told my CNAs or my techs, hey, let's go on and knock this bath out. It's gonna take two of us.
Because
So
sometimes it does take two, and I don't think people don't realize that. I remember when I was in nursing school, I remember people saying, why do I have to go to long-term care? Because that's always the first stop in your clinical
yeah,
journey. You
yeah.
always stop at the long-term care facility or a swing bed. You're somewhere in the boondocks of Georgia, somebody's long-term care facility. And walking through those doors, I heard so many people, because I'm a little old. I was a little older than them because that was my second career, well, my second degree. And
Right.
so you hear all these young people, they're like, why do we need to be in a long-term care facility? I'm not going to work in a long-term care facility. And I'm like, I was a residential aide. So I'm like, this is where you have to start. Because at some point you think that as a nurse that you're not going to
Exactly.
have to do CNA work, but you need to at least know how to do it and also
Exactly.
your CNAs.
Hmm. And let me tell you, when you respect, you know what I'm saying, when you have that respect for your CNAs and your techs, you will get so much further with help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they are more apt to, like, jump up and help and be
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I got you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that you don't mind rolling up your sleeves and helping too.
Because a bad CNA will
Mm-hmm.
make your life a living H-E-double
Yes.
hockey sticks, honey. They will
Yes.
tell you what they gonna do, what they not gonna do.
That's so true. So true. It's so
Especially if
important to
they
have
been
that
there way
mutual
before you. They
have that mutual respect for real. And
exactly.
I respect those CNAs, you know what I mean, and everything that
Hmm.
they have to do, because that's some heavy duty work. It is. So that's why I try my best to help, and let's get through this together. Let's lighten the load for each other.
Yes, and to think about how many years that they have been putting in doing this backbreaking work. A lot of them are older
Mhm.
women, older Black women,
Mhm.
doing this work, helping these patients, developing all of these great relationships with their patients.
That's
They've
right.
been there. Some of them have been there for over 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to imagine having to lift somebody
Mhm.
for years
Exactly.
and not have help. Because sometimes they don't have help. They be like, we're
Yeah.
going to get in here and do this. And
Uh huh.
you look up, I'm like, why didn't you ask me for girl, I do this all the time.
They do. They do. I
I
mean,
mean,
they will slide them patients up, honey, change them patients by themselves. Like, I
I'm
don't see
like,
how they do it, because I'm still having patients.
look, you walk in there, room smelling all good. You're like, hold on. Now, when did
Okay.
you clean this patient? And why didn't you
Yep.
tell me that you was coming? Miss Lakeisha, you was doing too much. We didn't need
No,
you.
I know they done did it already. Yep, that's so true. That's true.
So, where do you think that nurses should start in their career?
A lot of times I will tell people, this is just my personal opinion, because I know people want to start off right at RN, let me go to school for RN, but LPN really did help my hands-on skills. So by the time, like with LPN school, we had to check off with, IVs, Foley catheters, wound care, you know what I mean? Just a lot of stuff that necessarily I didn't have to check off on when I was in the RN program. So a lot of those hands-on skills, you're gonna get real good and familiar with those in the LPN program. So I always encourage people to maybe start off with the LPN program so they can get those hands-on skills and then bridge over, because you'll be more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like more confident when you're starting the IV, or when you're doing a Foley catheter. I remember as an LPN training RNs, and they didn't have that hands-on skill. You know what I mean? Or they'll tell me, "Oh, this is my first IV," and I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So LPNs, that school really did help me. I went to Wiregrass, so it really did help me with getting prepared. Well, I went to, what was it before Wiregrass?
Mm. What was it called before it was called Wiregrass?
Was it East Central? I think it might have been East Central Tech.
Buddy?
I think it was East Central Tech.
East Central Tech.
I think that might be
Come on, baby, just walked in here.
it. Okay.
Hey. Hey, sweetheart, let me get this. Thank you. And can you go in there with daddy, please? Mommy's doing homework. Thank you, buddy. Can you close the door? Okay. You're welcome.
That's so cute.
Girl, I don't even know who we were. Okay. Let me think. Let me think. I'm going to
So
cut
I
all.
think we was talking about just the LPN program.
Yes. And so I don't think that people recognize that, going LPN to RN, ADN to BSN, it can be more financially appropriate because you do get that leeway. And also, if you find someone at a job that will pay for
That's
it for
right.
you,
That's right.
then you could definitely alleviate cost if it, because I think a lot of people don't go to nursing school or don't go to school, period, because they just don't have the financial stability for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But get you a good old job that
Hmm.
offers some tuition assistance. Ask
That's
them in the
right.
interview, do you offer tuition assistance, and start making your plan then.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I want to say, like, my job, it's been several jobs I've been to that do offer that tuition reimbursement, or like cover you to go back to school. So that is a good thing. Like, if you're an LPN, look into, okay, if I go back for my RN, will you cover it? Now, you might have to like sign up for like 2 or 3 years or something like that. But, that's really good financially, and then you're not in debt.
You're not in debt, like, and then because if you start racking up debt now, by the time you get your MSN or your DN, you're gonna be looking at about $100,000.
Yes, girl.
You'll be
Yes.
looking at 100K.
Hmm.
Trust me, I know.
Yes, ma'am. Me too.
Especially with what is going on in the world today and how
Yes.
our funding is really being cut as
Yes.
nurses, and how we're no longer, I don't even think that, I feel like we were never considered professional,
Yeah,
a
and I
professional
don't
degree.
understand that, because
We're
without
professional.
nurses, without
We're
nurses,
prof-
what are you gonna do? Like, you're not gonna function.
you're not gonna function, and that's why they're treating us the
Hmm.
way that they treat us. I always say that somebody got hurt by a nurse, and you know how those young boys, they still stuck on what happened to them in the fifth grade.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's how it is. Somebody became a nurse and they said, I don't need you anymore. Money. Scat.
Yeah. Something happened. Something
Haven't
happened.
happened because the way that they treat us.
I know, it's ridiculous. But this is the thing, though. They know they need us,
Mm-hmm.
and they know it's a nursing shortage. It's only getting worse, but it's because of how we're treated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous.
You
And
got an apple for Nurses Week.
huh?
An apple for Nurses Week.
You got an apple?
One time I got an orange.
Oh,
The orange. Okay.
I know I have a friend who's a nurse, and she said that her job didn't get them anything for Nurses Week. They didn't get anything, and I was like,
Not even recognition. Probably didn't
no
even, or put a banner
recognition.
up.
They didn't get
What
any.
Nurses Week? What nurse? Like, I feel like that is
Right.
so terrible. And then how they lump together Nurses Week along with Teachers Week,
Yeah.
along with Professionals Week, and they're like, hey, here you go.
Right, right,
Here's your week.
right.
It's not okay how they treat us, but that is exactly what they do. So whenever you come out into nursing, like she said, make sure that it's something that you're passionate about.
Right, right.
Advocate for yourself when it comes to your finances. Like if you see an offer that doesn't sit
Hmm.
well in your spirit when it comes to cost of living and all the things that are happening in the economy right now, make sure that it's going to sustain you. Because you don't
Right.
want to be working 3 or 4 jobs just to pay your bills,
That's so
just to
true.
eat.
That's
Because
true.
that happens. I don't think people really talk about how some nurses are really going from paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And that's so normal. And I feel
Hmm.
like in social media world, it's not normal because people aren't really
Yeah.
seeing the real thing.
Yeah. So social media will puff it up and make it look glamorous, but
Mhm.
we out here in the trenches.
In the trenches.
Okay.
People
I'm
ask me
telling
how I
you.
got where I got. They were like, "How did you get where you got?" I said, "Because the hospital where I live, they weren't gonna pay me the money I was worth. They were not gonna. They weren't. They
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the trade off is the cost of living is low where we're from.
That's true. That's
We
true.
can get by with it because the cost of
Hmm.
living is low.
Hmm.
So, oh my goodness, what other advice would you give to nurses?
I would say just be open to, opportunities outside of bedside nursing, you know?
Mhm,
And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with bedside nursing, you know what I mean? Because some people just have a passion for that. And it's
mhm.
absolutely nothing wrong with, bedside nursing. But if you are interested in something other than that, you know what I mean? Like outside, expanding, like what else can you use your nursing degree for? Just be open to, different things like I was saying, case management, cybersecurity, utilization review, clinical documentation specialists, and stuff like that. There are so many things that you can do with this nursing degree. And I never like really realized that until I started
Mhm.
looking into it a little bit more. And when I got into case management, I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like this is something that I wasn't expecting it, but it ended up being a great experience, a great career move for me.
Yeah, so what is your dream nursing job? Like what do you see yourself doing in the future? Even if it's not a job, what would your life look like had it if it is something like what's your dream for yourself?
I think I'm pretty much there. I'm
Girl,
pretty
this
much
type of
there. Like
role.
the transition I'm about to make, really with case management, that was, great. The transition I'm about to make is like even, a higher step up for me that I really wanted to do. And, it's just like everything is falling into place. And I thank God for his favor, you know what I mean? And just put me in the right place at the right time with, the right people.
Yes.
And just that's pretty much it. Like I'm really happy with where I am right now.
And I'm excited for you. And I hope to hear everything that's happening with your homeschooling journey,
Thank
with
you.
your new role and your nursing journey. I
Thank
don't think
you.
people really understand how vast nursing is. Like, and I can't
Hmm.
say that enough. And that's why I created this podcast is because we do so many different things.
Exactly.
Like you have nurses who do airplane nurses, like they do
Yeah.
airplane nurses. Like
Uh-huh.
you have nurses who don't even use their nursing degree. They just keep it.
That's so true. Yes.
They keep it
Yes.
active just in case.
That's very true. Very
They keep
true.
it active just in case. But you do have nurses who will be bedside for forever because that's where their passion lies, like you said. But you
Right.
don't have to stay there if it's not something that's beneficial to you.
That's right. That's right. And I will say that also with this role, it helped me with my ministry, my community outreach,
Hmm.
because I do network with a lot of other companies, you know what I mean? And my case management team, they have helped with certain, things, certain community events that I've had. where I know where I fed the elderly and disabled, and a lot of them donated. A lot of them came and delivered, meals and stuff. Yeah, girl.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I love, you know what I mean? Like, I love my team for real. And I love that, community support that I have. And just so many people donated. And I was very thankful and just really overwhelmed by so many people just
Yes.
wanted to give, and sometimes people be wanting to do stuff and they're just waiting on people to kind of coordinate it. You know what I mean?
Mhm. They're waiting on somebody
So
to say it.
yeah, so I
Somebody
was
will
really
volunteer.
excited about that.
And I was telling people, that it's important to volunteer,
It is. Mm-hmm.
especially for those nursing school applications.
That's right. That's right.
Especially for those nursing school applications, because a lot of times they're looking for you to be a well-rounded person.
Exactly.
So you doing things for the community, you
Mm-hmm.
doing outreach, you collaborating, all of those things look really good on your resume when you're trying to get into nursing
That's
school,
right.
when you're
That's
trying to
right.
bridge into a program. All of those things look really good. A lot of people don't talk about
Mm-hmm.
service enough.
That's right.
Service
That's
is
right.
important.
It
And
is.
I
It is.
and I think that because where we come from, like in the areas where we are, service is important for us because
Exactly.
community is important for us.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
Shout out
very
to the
true.
shout out to the O. And honestly, thank you for asking me to come onto this podcast. It does feel really good to have somebody that I know on the pod.
Yes.
I've interviewed Shamika and Jasmine as well.
Yes. Yes.
And I feel like it's so important to hear from another nurse in the South Georgia area
Mm-hmm.
their experience in nursing because it's so different there.
Yes, yes, it
It's
is.
such a it's a whole new world. But with that being said, I think we're at the end of this episode.
All
Do
right.
you have
Well, I have
anything?
enjoyed this.
I want you to share what your ministry is, how
Okay.
they can get in contact with you, how they can reach out to you. If they want to donate, where do they donate
Okay.
for your ministry? I think that it's very important that we do that because, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
some people want to reach out, some people want to share, some people want to give,
Right,
whether
right.
it's volunteering their time, whether it's volunteering their money or the things that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can they reach out to you?
So my ministry is called Agape Love Ministry and Community Outreach. I'm in the process of getting us a page started on Facebook. But right now, you can just reach out to me, my personal page, Kimbre Ellison on Facebook, and you can also reach out to me via email. My personal email is kellison2294788@gmail.com.
And all her information will be down in the description. So, with that being said, thank you all for joining us on this lovely day. Two South Georgia girls
Yeah.
in a Georgia world talking about nursing, how vast it is, how diverse it is, how you can become a nurse, and that it doesn't have to look like everybody else's experience.
Right, right. Well, all have different journeys, different paths.
Hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing about nursing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's so many ways to that you can, become a nurse. There's so many ways, avenues that you could take when you become a nurse,
Hmm.
and different roles that you can be in, So it's definitely I don't regret this career, at all. It
Even
was
though you
one of the
didn't see
best
it for yourself.
decisions.
Hmm. Even though you didn't see it for yourself.
Even though I didn't see it, a lot of times we plan things, but it's God's plan at the end of the day. So it's definitely something that I'm happy about.
Yes. Well, thank you again for coming on to the podcast. We really enjoyed you. We'll be talking again. We'll be talking. We'll
Yeah.
be seeing each other soon. And with that being said, y'all have a great day.
All right.